Thank you. Thanks to you, I am a great creator. The only thing that happens to me is I create at such a pace that I don't feel that I can emotionally keep up with it, and many times I feel physically wiped out.
That's because of a little bit of imbalance, and here's what we mean by this. It's almost exactly what we just described, where you've been wanting, and not knowing it, but not allowing, and then you've discovered how to begin allowing, and a lot of it avalanches in all at once. Bring us back around now, and let's chew on it in more detail.
Well, I am a speaker and a trainer, and I created 4 events this last week, and when I woke up on Wednesday morning and I knew where I was supposed to be, it's like I did not want to be there.
It's always this ebb and flow. You want to vacillate between boredom and panic, only you don't want it to go quite to those extremes. In other words, you want there to be enough that keeps you interested, but not so much that keeps you overwhelmed. Enough that keeps you interested, but not so much that keeps you overwhelmed. And the way you learn your balance is through the exact experience that you are living. And so, as you've had 4 things happening in 1 week that are exhilarating on one level and maybe a little exhausting or overwhelming on another level, you're shooting out rockets of desire. You're saying to the universe, I like what I do. I like my involvement. I just don't want to be overwhelmed with it. I want a pace that is comfortable. And the universe hears every bit of that, you see. But then when you get frustrated about too much to do, what happens is you're not a vibrational match to ease. Then you're a vibrational match to things going wrong, or you're a vibrational match to struggle, or you're a vibrational match to people who are supposed to help you not showing up. Through trial and error, you just keep reaching for the thoughts that feel best. Okay. And little by little, the universe will accommodate you. Every single thing that you want or desire will come to help you. In other words, as you are doing these seminars, all kinds of clarity will come to you. All kinds of knowledge will come to you. All kinds of other people to assist you right where you need them to assist you will come to you. Life is supposed to be fun. It is not supposed to be a struggle. And yet there is a little bit of you still that feels a little bit satisfied by the struggle, because there's a part of you, it's present within almost everyone, that says, for something to be of value, I have to pay a little bit of a price. And so there's that little bit of price paying that's going on that then you just kind of get carried away with. So, something more?
Thank you. I have one more question.
Yes?
Is the resistance. This morning I'm staying in this hotel, and I'm on floor 17, and I got on the elevator, and there was a woman on there that just was complaining, and it stopped at every single floor, and I was like so resistant, and she just continued to complain and I was just like pushing against that so bad. And I want insight in how, when something like that happens, that I just go to another place and I just don't even...
All right, now I want to give you a number of things here. This is very good, because this is how it happens. So, as you did that virtual reality just now, in other words, we know that this is a place where we sort things out, and we understand that you're wanting clarification on it. But she did a pretty good virtual reality, didn't she? In other words, didn't you feel the ambience of the elevator and so on? And so what you've done is you've activated that vibration within you, which makes you likely to rendezvous with more elevators like that. Because that's what's activated within your vibration. And so now the natural response is, but I wasn't feeling like that before I got on the elevator with her. And we say there was some sort of vibration present within you that caused you to rendezvous with that particular timing. Law of attraction would not have lined you up. And we're not offering this to you in any sense of blame. We just want you to understand that your life always unfolds in perfect vibrational harmony with whatever is dominant within your vibration, you see. And so now you say, well, then I should do some virtual realities about happy elevator rides. And we say, no, because if you try to do virtual realities about happy elevator rides, that elevator ride is what is dominant, and that's what you'll bring in there. So you do virtual realities on other things until you activate a different part in your vibration, and then you don't rendezvous with that anymore. One day, Jerry and Esther got on an elevator in another hotel. They go back to their sleeping room during segments of refreshment. And a little boy was on the elevator with them, with his mother. And he was jumping up and down and saying, happy, 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 happy. And when Jerry and Esther got to their floor and got off, Esther said, that was nice to rendezvous with that. In other words, he was just beside himself. He was just learning to speak. He didn't have very many words in his vocabulary. The elevator ride was really new for him, and he was having the very best time. Those are the kind of elevator rides you're wanting to rendezvous with, and those are the kind you will rendezvous with if you're not worrying about the kind that you were rendezvousing with. You get a sense of it? What's dominant within my vibration? Now, of course, you're doing very well. In other words, when you think about most things, when you step back from the specifics of something like that, you say, my life is going extremely well. You say, things go very well with me. I rendezvous usually with things that go well. And yet, when you think about it, you can feel some residual in your vibration. You know what it is in your vibration that you're thinking about on a regular basis that would cause you to rendezvous with that.
Okay.
You see? You could have someone in your life that you want to love who complains a lot. And you're aware that they complain a lot, and even though you don't mean to think about it, when you think about them, that's what's activated within you. And somebody could have reminded you yesterday or on television of that person and could have just softly activated that within your vibration. Often that's enough, you see. The fun of all of this is recognizing that as you begin to notice the correlation between what you're deliberately thinking and feeling and what's manifesting in your experience, then you begin to notice the creative control, and then C's part for you. The traffic's just right for you. The lights turn green for you. People open doors for you. The comfortable, pleasant waiter waits on you. You're there when the phone rings with the phone calls you want to receive, and you're not there when the phone rings with the phone calls you don't want to receive. In other words, you just get in this rhythm of well-being with far less effort than you think at first. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Abraham, for being here and sharing all this wonderful knowledge with us. I have one question I'm going to ask just before I ask my real question.
Co-creating at its best.
We are non-physical and physical, but when we leave the physical behind, do we come into that? So are we then source energy?
Yes, you are, but you don't have to die to get there. That heaven's gate, so to speak, swings both ways. You can croak, and in the moment you leave behind all doubt and fear and vulnerability and resistance, and you become that pure positive energy, and you have that knowing, and you are still interested in what's happening in physical time-space realities because that's where the expansion is happening. But you do not have to croak in order to have that expanding experience. You can lighten up, look for reasons to feel good, do virtual realities, practice thoughts that feel good, and have infinite intelligence flowing through you on all subjects at all times.
Great.
The only difference worth mentioning between you and your physical body and the non-physical you is that the non-physical you doesn't worry, doesn't blame, doesn't feel guilty, doesn't push against things. The non-physical you knows that well-being is the order of the day and expects well-being to be. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes.
Now back to Earth. An earthly question.
Now you've missed the whole point of our former conversation.
Oh, sorry. No.
In other words, Earth good.
Or good
leading
Earth.
edge. In other
Good
words,
Earth.
it's not a punishment. It's not a lesser experience. This is the leading edge experience. This is where the desire and the answer culminate. Do you feel the power of that? In other words,
Yes.
to be able to identify a question and then be in a place where the answer comes and the manifestation occurs. That's where everyone wants to be. Not back to planet Earth.
Okay. I was married for about 23 years, and I divorced my husband about 3 years ago. And I still care a lot about him. I love him. He's a beautiful, wonderful person. And I really felt the need to leave. And so I'm going on my way, and I've also put out to the universe the type of person I would like to share some time with. I keep thinking about my ex-husband, and we talk on the phone maybe once a week. And I didn't know. I met you shortly after that, very shortly after I had split up with my husband. And I guess in the back of my mind is, well, gee, if I'd known all of this, maybe I wouldn't have had to have gotten divorced. And I wonder why do I continually think about maybe should I go back and try that over again?
Well, think about what we've been talking here today about the activation of thought. So isn't it logical that when you pick up the stick that says relationship or marriage, that it would activate the vibration of that relationship or that marriage? In other words, it's logical that when you think about relationship, that would activate. Mm-hmm. And so let's sort of find a beginning place here, because we agree with you. If you had still been involved in that relationship at the time that you first began hearing us interact, what we would have said to you is what we always say to everyone. It is so much better, as you stand in a place that has elements that you don't like, to show yourself that you can feel good anyway, rather than try to move to circumstances where there are no elements that you do not like. What happens when you say, oh, this is so big that I have to go someplace else? When you go someplace else, you usually take the vibration with you wherever you go. And so things don't really change that much for you in terms of experience. Where if you stand still right where you are and you achieve vibrational harmony with the thoughts that feel good, then whatever you are wanting can come to you right where you stand. But that's always true. It's true whether you stayed. It's true whether you left. In other words, that's always true. We think that you have let the universe know with great clarity that you are wanting a relationship and the elements of it that you are wanting. But we would say you would be better off sort of staying off the subject of relationship for a while and just focus upon other things that make you happy. And source energy will arrange the circumstances and events that will satisfy you in all of these ways. We say to people, and we would have said it to you if you would ask it of us prior to your leaving, that a very common thing we see is you'll have a relationship where there are many points of experience. And let's say, just for sake of example, that your mate has 10 dominant characteristics, and 6 of them are pleasant, as you described, and 4 of them are less than pleasant. You could do without them. Well, the basis of your relationship doesn't hinge upon the existence of those 10 characteristics. The basis of your relationship depends upon which ones of those characteristics you keep most active in your vibration. In other words, if you focus upon the 6 that feel good, even if there was only one that felt good and you focused upon it, it would become the predominance of your relationship, you see. So what we see so often is that someone will say, well, there are these things I like, but these things that I can't stand, so I think I will go someplace else. And what they don't realize is they took those 4 things they hated with them. They were still dominant in their vibration because they keep talking about it. They keep justifying why they left. They keep thinking about it. So those 4 things are still active in their vibration, and then the next person they attract has those. And so often, then the next relationship has 3 things they like and 7 things they don't. In other words, there's usually not much ground gained when you leave something. It's always better when you go towards something. So, as we feel you, we don't think it makes any difference what decisions you've made. We think what matters most is you're ready for a relationship. You're knowing what you're wanting. And we think it serves you very well to focus upon the positive aspects of the relationship that you once lived. And we would say to you that as you focus upon those positive aspects and you bring them most actively into your vibration, the universe will bring to you through the path of least resistance the partner that will satisfy you the most. So, for example, if you think about that relationship and you explore all 10 characteristics, it would be absolutely logical that the universe would bring that person right back to you. But let's say you focus upon 4 characteristics that you really adored and you ignored the other characteristics. So who would come to you? Would it be that person minus the things that bothered you? Maybe. Or would the crack of least resistance be another person who has those dominant characteristics, who never had the other activated? Mm-hmm. And what we would say to you is, in any case, it doesn't matter. Who comes is really going to satisfy you. You don't have to spend any time looking back and saying, I should have done it differently, I could have done it differently, because you never get it wrong. Where you are is just fine. So you say, oh, well, that feels good. Well, from where I am, what I now want is, and we say, we know, you've been telling us. Every time you're lonely, you let us know. Every time you see someone else having a wonderful relationship, we know. In other words, you let universal forces know continually what you want. Now all you have to do is stop feeling guilty about leaving. In fact, get off that subject altogether. Get yourself into a vibrational happy place, and quickly something will come in this lifetime.